Good, good.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Been enjoying your time here in St. Louis?
I've been having a great time.
I know you caught,
Especially here, it's been fun.
caught a little bit of soccer the other day.
I did. My country, well, actually, my country's Wales, but England won last night.
Yeah, come on, guys. Come on.
So that's
You
why
won last
I
night.
snuck off for about 2 hours, so I felt bad, but I said, I'm gonna have to sneak off before.
You had a business meeting.
Had a business
We had it
meeting.
covered.
So apologies to anybody that tried to find me then. I was hiding in the corner somewhere watching.
But it was worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we don't have dog in the start, so I'm remembering. Well, you guys know roles such as The Munsters and 31, Halloween, some of my favorites, Mayor of Kingstown, Barbarian, Doom, Batman Begins. Man, I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
It's because I'm old.
You're a working man.
I have a lot of kids to support, so I gotta stay busy.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. We, on this side of things, we appreciate you staying busy because we love seeing you in different roles and love, I mean, this ain't to blow smoke up your butt, but like, I've told you the first time I met you, like every movie or show I've watched with you in it, I love your character. No matter what, your roles, you are perfect. I mean, it's just, whether it be a homicidal killer in 31 or, Mayor Kingston, no matter what it is. And I'm super excited for the one you got coming up that drops this month.
Pinocchio on Straw.
Richard plays Geppetto, correct?
I do. You want to talk about it a little?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because
Let's talk about it.
obviously we're horror fans, and I saw it in Brussels originally. There was a film festival in February, and I went to Brussels to see it. I put that in my head. And somebody fainted in the audience, like genuinely. It wasn't one of those bullshit. Somebody fainted in the middle of this film. They actually did. It was wild. It's an incredibly gory, insane, funny, mad story about a psychotic couple and his somewhat demented maker. But it's really worth checking out. It's out in July 24th. I don't usually like films, but this fun. And then I saw it again 2 weeks ago with one of my sons at a film festival in London. And both of us, I hadn't seen it before, and I'm still going like this. And he doesn't like horror films. So I could see him squirming there.
So remember that, guys, July 24th. Make sure you check it out. So, obviously we're at a horror con, like you said, do you prefer doing more genre, or is that something that draws you to that more, or do you just, what draws you to those type of roles? Like, you prefer it?
I mean, I love doing all kinds of different stuff. I did a comedy in May, Mississippi. But horror, I was lucky that I get my first horror film was maybe 2009 or something. Maybe a bit before that. And then I did Rob's Halloween 2. And then that obviously cemented a wonderful relationship with my favorite director. And then I've just subsequently done a lot. So I love that. I love horror because as much as anything, it's just a great way to talk about the world as well as the community, the horror community that I've met through doing cons, and really the impact that horror has in people's lives in a positive way. It gets people that don't like horror like to say shit about it being, not a good thing. It's actually an incredibly positive genre of film. To be a part of that is an honor.
And I know with Rob, I'm a huge Rob Zombie movie fan, Rob Zombie film music, all the above. But he likes to talk about how when he grew up with, the Bela Lugosi's and the Lon Chaney, and the old monster films. Were you a horror kid, like growing up? Did you like horror?
As a kid. So I grew up, I was born over in Europe, but I grew up in the South mostly, actually. And as a kid in North Carolina in the 70s, there was, which probably nobody here was a kid in North Carolina in the 70s, but there was a TV, like after cartoons at about 11, there was a movie they'd show a movie, it'd be a horror movie. This man's nodding, so yeah. And it was like I don't know, there was these horror films, and a lot of them were the classics, or Hammer films, and I used to watch them. I must have been 7 or 8. And I watched like one of Scooby-Doo, and then these would come on, and I loved those, but they would terrify me. And I wouldn't be able to go to sleep on my own for a week. My parents would have to like stay in bed with me until I got to sleep. And they were like, what the fuck's wrong with it? And then eventually, after about, I don't know how long it was, but a few months, a year or something, they realized that, because they didn't know I was watching them. I mean, it was the days when they just sat downstairs and I'd watch cartoons all morning and just film. And they stopped watching them. But I loved them back then, and then subsequently, that's my first taste of horror was those films.
It's so fun though. I always revert back, especially, getting in the spirit of Halloween every year. I don't get, like, my kids, they can care less about it, but the old Dracula, the Frankenstein, of course, Young Frankenstein's always a classic. I know it's a little bit off that path, but it's so crazy to just think about the classic monster films, and then how that is, in a way, led to where we're at now with the current monster films or horror films, or however you want to look at it. And it's just, to me, I mean, like what you're saying with the people that badmouth horror, it's still a form of art, and it's a way of expression, and it's expressing the things that people know about but don't want to talk about, whether, no matter what direction you go.
Both like things that are external in the world and also internal. It's a great way of exploring the kind of, which is what I love about what I do. I get to play a lot of, like you said, very fucked up people. And so how do you do that? But I think it keeps me sane. I mean, I've been able to like go to places in my head that most people don't have to go to. So I can't think that, what I eat person. I remember I ate a child in Hannibal Rising. Me and a couple of other guys decided to eat Hannibal's sister. What's wrong with it? And
Gotta eat.
And I would film that during the day and then come home at night and read bedtime stories to my own. At the time I had 2 young children. And I thought, this is really fucked up. It makes sense. I could be kicked out at all because I was a psychopath during the day. So it's a way of like, doing shit.
All right. Now, I read, I think it was on IMDb, that Sid Hagen actually was who introduced you to Rob. Is that true, or is that false?
No, I think that's like, what those things that just...
Somebody just made up?
Yeah. I first met Rob, I auditioned for Halloween 2. And you don't meet Rob when he auditions. Never did he something. I mean, look, I sometimes see some crazy shit about me and things like that. What the fuck are you talking about? With Rob, he always just likes people to do a tape with the casting director, and he looks at them. I did this, they sent me, it was amazing. I just gone to LA for a period of time. I decided to move there. And I've been there before, but I moved there. And that day, my agent called me and said, oh, tomorrow there's an audition for Rob Zombie film. And I was like, you're a musician? And then I was like, wow, that's weird. But how do we do it? So they sent it to me. It was right up my alley, a necrophilic, paramedic. I thought, I could do that. And I went in and it went well, and then Rob asked me, and then I went out to the film. I was shitting myself going out to Halloween 2 because I thought, I'd seen him on as a musician with all of his fucking wild energy, and he's incredible to see live. And then he's gonna be a fucking nutcase. And then I get there. Shit, I hope he doesn't fucking lay into me. And then next thing I know, he comes introducing himself. I'm outside my trailer, chatting to him about vegan cheese. because I'm vegetarian, but at the time.
Attention, we are looking for a Caitlin Signor. Caitlin Signor, please see an attendant at the front desk.
And so whoever missing something there, and he's just such an incredibly gentle, lovely human being with a huge heart. Just we did about him. He was kind enough to offer me, 31 a couple years ago.
And see, that's what I like about it is, with Rob's films, I love seeing the familiar faces. We've seen you in quite a few of his films. We've seen Sid and Bill Moseley. And so, is that just, is it like a camaraderie thing, like a family thing where, I got this great role, I bet Richard would be grateful, or does he make you audition for everything?
He just, I'm only the first one, or I know for Jeff it was the same. I think once he knows you can do something, and he knows, he's got an incredible eye for that. Like, in fact, so no, he doesn't. It's quite incredible actually, because he sent me Doomhead, and I was like, wow, I don't know if I can do it. This is because, he's got these incredible monologue and just such a presence. I was like, wow. I was like, shit, man. But Rob, you only see me do Halloween, I did that. It's not a big scene, but he thought he knew I could do it. And in fact, I learned later, I'm really glad I didn't know this at the time, that all the producers of that film, the money guys, were like, who the fuck's Richard Brake? We don't want, we need to get a big name for this one. We need somebody well known. And Rob stood up and was like, said to them, no, this is the guy. So he knew more than I did that I could do it. And part of my thing was I just didn't have that right down. So I, worked hard. And when we were shooting it, I was like, fuck, this is, I can do this. And it was an incredible experience, but I have to give Rob credit. He knew better than I knew that I could play that role. And that's an incredible gift to have as an artist.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shift away from Rob a little bit. I can talk about that all day, but
he's a genius.
I've heard, as a person, great, just work for, be around you for, the whole time. But shifting back just real quick to Geppetto, how is that for you, like, taking a wholesome Disney character and turning it into this? How gnarly is that? Is it fun? Do you get to,
It's fun. It's fun. I don't know if any of you have seen these guys' films. They did Blood Honey. And so when my agent called me up and said, there's an offer here for a movie, Pinocchio and Strung by the guys who did Winnie the Pooh. He said, I'm not sure about this one. I was like, yeah, me neither. Winnie the Pooh? And then I Googled up Winnie the Pooh, because I heard about it, obviously everybody had, right? And then I was like, I read the review. I think the Winnie the Pooh one review, it's like, Rotten Tomatoes, it's like 1% or something. And I'm like, holy shit. And then I Googled the guys, and they had made these two filmmakers, Scott and Ernst, had made something like 150 films in 5 years. And I'm like, what the fuck? Who makes 150 films? And they were dinosaur movies, and they've been released, these movies. And I'm like, something's wrong. What the hell? And then I thought, it's filming around near my house. So I thought, well, that's positive. So I guess they own one. And also, I thought, well, let me read the script. So I read the script. I remember reading on the train home from that. And I was like, it was good. It was funny. I was like, this is weird. This is really good. I watched Winnie the Pooh too. I couldn't bring myself to watch Winnie the Pooh 1. And that was actually not bad at all. And then when I met them, I was so happy I did it. I was really incredibly good. Because it turned out they made 150 films because they just wanted to learn how to make films. And they thought, you know what, no one's gonna really see them. They got distributed, so they would make them for about $800, you know, and then they would be distributed, probably more like 5,000. They get their $5,000 back and make another one. They learn how to make movies. They kept doing it, and one day they thought, you know, Winnie the Pooh is out of rights, so we can make a Winnie the Pooh horror film. You know, I could bring it. So they make it for like $5,000. They get their Winnie the Pooh masks from Amazon, but they're not Winnie the Pooh masks, they're bear masks, and they make it, they know it's shit, but they're fucking learning how to make movies. You know, some people are stoned to watch it on some channel, and that's not all. But what happened was it went viral because everybody got upset they were making Winnie the Pooh movie. And they both went, oh, fuck, we're fucked now, because everybody's going to see this movie. But luckily it made a lot of money. It did get seen. And they took that money, and again, they could have bought a house, they could have done this, but instead they put it all back in and made more movies. And they just kept making more, better budgets, better movies, because they had more money, they also learned. And they made some great films, and they've done 3 or 4 really good, low, you know, not big budget horror films, and Pinocchio's the biggest budget, they got Robert Eggers, pretty voice there. And so they're incredibly hardworking filmmakers, and I'm really impressed. So, yeah, I was happy to be a part of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's actually how I heard about it. The first one was when it went viral, because I remember it was something about the rights were suddenly available for all the old Disney characters, or however it worked out. And then there was all these Facebook, YouTube, TikTok reels, all this stuff, and I was like, what, you know, oh my gosh, this is a thing. And then me and my wife, same as me, we love horror, and we're like, screw it, let's watch it. The first one, man. The second one, we went into it with the mindset though, we're like, this isn't supposed to be some $20 million movie. Like, this is supposed to be just a fun, candy style horror movie with Winnie the Pooh, and we love it. We love this.
They got a third one they just shot now. That's fun for themselves. It's fun.
Oh, awesome. Well, I'll check that one out too. I'm definitely going to check. That's what, July 24th, you said?
Yeah, July 24th.
Awesome.
I do think it's one of those ones that people that like, you know, just really crazy fun shit.
Definitely. Well, guys, I can talk to them all day, so how about we get some questions from you guys? Anybody? Just raise your hand. Melissa will bring the mic up to you. You can ask Richard any questions. Questions? Stories? Is everybody
I cry.
Okay, hold on. Take the furthest staircase.
Hi there. Big fan of your films. I was wondering, would you enjoy doing a Western and maybe the part of a bad guy?
Attention attendees, I have a limited time con exclusive right now. It's a blue light special at the merch table. Any of the event posters that are still up on the table.
half price?
Would I like to do a Western, did you say? Yeah, I've done a few. Yeah, and trying to think off the top of my head. Yeah, but I've definitely done a few, and but yeah, you know, in fact, I was supposed to do one when I was doing Winnie the Pooh, but I had to do another with Pinocchio, but I ended up doing Pinocchio instead. But yeah, I love Westerns. I love watching them. Yeah, play the bad guy. Or the romantic interest of, you know, the leading actors. Because what I'd mostly like to do is a rom-com, but chances seem to be getting slimmer by the day.
So you do have experience riding horses?
Riding horses, yeah. In fact, when I did The Night King, I had to do quite a lot of horse training.
Anybody else? Speaking of the Night King, while she's, oh, sorry, man, go. I thought you were coming down and taking the mic. Go ahead.
kind of have a two-part question. Is there a role that you maybe, that you were finally recognized for, you didn't maybe think was your best work? Or conversely, is there a role that you really appreciate that you don't think gets noticed very much?
So part one, no, there's nothing, I mean, no, there's not any role that I think I was shit at people come up. If I was shit, they'll probably, I hope they would see it. And, you know, people come up, weirdly, for lots of different stuff. And sometimes Doom, I'll have someone, I'll be on the underground in London and some guy will tell me about Doom or whatever, all kinds of different things. Is there, yeah, well, I mean, there's films that I've done that I sadly not seen as much. There was a film called Perfect Skin, which is a really small independent British film. That's really worth checking out if you ever can find it. It's on screening, I know that for sure, because you do see it. And then there's a film that's a little bigger called Last Stop in Yuma County, which is a really famous Tarantino film that was incredibly well received and had great reviews and won awards in Sitges Film Festival, which is like the biggest far as that genre thing. That's a good one. So there's films that I've done that I've been very proud of that, you know, don't have as big an audience, just because that's how it goes. A lot of independent films just don't have the budgets to market.
Thanks. Yeah, playing the bad guy on the team with Game of Thrones. I was just wondering how you got involved with the television show and became the evil king, trying to conquer the world.
I had auditioned for Game of Thrones, like, because you know, in London, everybody, I mean, they needed so many actors for that. It was like you had an audition for it. So I went in for a couple of parts, season 1 and 2. They weren't great. There was one that I thought was going to be a good part, and I just missed it. I think I was second choice. And I'm glad I didn't get it, because it wasn't that great a part. So then my agent told me, my agent's taken a lot, didn't mention a lot of this, but different agents actually. But she called me up and said, oh, Game of Thrones wants to see you again. Like, okay. She goes, but the thing is, the character doesn't speak. It's covered completely in prosthetics. And it's only on screen for about a minute. And I was like, this is where my fucking career's got to. I'm like, oh shit, I got the kids this today, and I'm like, I don't think I'm like. She goes, well, they say he's gonna be important. I said, they always fucking say that, which they do, right? And then you get there, and he ain't important. And but the other one was supposed to be important, he wasn't important. And I was like, no, you know what, fuck it, I'll just go. So I went to this audition again. I had to, they said, could you, well, basically it was like this. I'm standing there going, I'm Richard, and we go, hey, good to see you, I'm Richard. They said, could you walk over there and pick up a sword? And I was like, are you fucking serious? I've studied acting for a long time, 40, 50 years, one fucking sword up. So I had to pretend to pick a sword up. You know. They went, yeah, okay. You now pretend to touch a baby. I was like, just hold the baby. And then they said, okay, thank you. And then I went, fucked. So I went home and my agent called me, like, whatever it was, and said, oh, they want you to do this thing. And then I went and then I had to do the makeup test and then I like checked my makeup. And then gradually I was like, okay, so. And a friend of mine who I was just having coffee with, I was explaining to this guy, blue guy or whatever, and I hadn't watched the show. But this guy said, holy fuck, you're the king of the night, of the White Walkers. I was like, oh, is he important? He goes, and it turned out it was So it shows you when you get offered something to do, just don't fucking do it. Because if I stayed up with the kids, it would never do anything about it. So it was very weird. But, there you go.
How was the makeup process for that?
6 hours in the chair. And then, so I'd wake up at 3, 6 hours in the chair, a 10-hour workout, 2 hours to take it off. I would get home, take a bath, go to sleep, wake up to go into brooding. I had, the costume was not comfortable. I had fake fingernails out the ear, so if I tried to take a pee, I would probably sever my penis. But I had to walk, and if I had to do anything, I'd take a shitter at them. They would have to shut the fucking film down for an hour to get me out of everything. So, and there would be 700 extras waiting for me to walk out of the porta potty. So I'm gonna do that. So I had to watch my eating during the really intense kind of physical thing. So when it was over, I got offered all these prosthetic jobs, and I was like, no. Chuck Jones could do that.
That's what, because you already answered that, but when like Jim Carrey talks about the Grinch and how much prosthetics were just miserable, I was wondering how that was. Was the prosthetics on your face hard to
No,
deal with?
that's actually not that bad. It was contact lenses is the hardest because they're the biggest to put in human eye. They hurt. Like I find it, it's in my eyes much anyway. And they would have to take them out at lunch, and then, because I think legally they can only be in 4 hours at a time. And then to get them back in, because I so dislike them, they'd have to have 3 people hold my head while they just jammed them back in. And I would be like, by the end of the day, my eyes are just streaming tears.
Well, has anybody else got a question for Richard? Come on. Nothing? You can ask more than one. That's fine.
So just curious, do you have a favorite character that you play?
It's like choosing a favorite child.
That's what I figured.
It's really hard. I mean, it genuinely is really hard. I have experience working with Rob, all this stuff with Rob. I mean, just so many different. But every part's so different. Even people are like, oh, you always play fucking crazy psychos. But they're all very different, actually. And the way I approach them is very different. So I've been really lucky that I had to do so many different roles with so many different great people. I can think of one thing that I was in that I didn't enjoy very much. And it was just a bit of a chaotic situation. I'm not going to name it, but outside of 120 or something things, there's one that I was like, that wasn't much fun. And it was up there one summer. But otherwise, it's been, genuinely been really enjoyable experience. Different big ones, little ones.
Has there been any roles that you've passed on and you're like, damn, I wish I would have done that?
No, that's because I just do everything.
Fair enough.
If I can fit it in my schedule a lot, unless it's or if I pass on it, it's usually a good reason why. So no.
Anybody else? Could we see any more in the future from Three from Hell?
You're asking the wrong man. The other man knows that.
I was hoping I get some inside scoop to it.
No, I have no idea.
Nothing in the works that way, no Rob's
Rob's really doing a lot of music the last few years. Lots of music, exactly. So.
All right, let's.
Any shy people want to ask me, always welcome to come by my table. Most any of you that have been by already know how much I could just fucking talk. You can see the kids going, please shut this fucking man up. Please down.
I could be wrong, but were you the chemist in Mandy?
Yeah,
How was your experience being the English cinema?
that was really, really fun. So it was, yeah, where do I start this? So yeah, it was, Panis, the director, is just the wildest guy. He's just this big bear in the hat. And, when I did that one, I was thinking, shit, Nick Cage, working with Nick Cage. And, his reputation, I was like, fuck, it's gonna be a crazy fucker. And I get there, and first off, we were meant to have a lizard to be Lizzie, this crazy. And Panis is like, oh man, we've got like more money, so you cool with tigers? We got a tiger. Lizzie. And there's this massive Bengal tiger on set. Then Nick Cage, and Nick he was so in character, so focused and professional the whole time. He sat there while I did all the talking. Camera's on me, and he's just, fully there behind the camera, acting the whole time, helping me do a good performance. And of course, I have to be stoned out of my skull and have this one scene. So I haven't drunk or done any fucking, I used to do a lot of shit back then. Youth, and then I stopped like 35 years ago. And so I had to get to that space again without the use of any pharmaceuticals. And I spent all day listening to fucking crazy psychedelic shit in my head. So by the time I got to that night, I was just dead. So it was this really trippy night of doing this film. And then when it came out, it was an amazing, amazing movie. So really great to be part of it.
See that Barbarian, how was that?
Oh, that was a great one. That was so lucky. There's so many cool ones. That film, that was, again, I got sent a script, and I remember reading it on an airplane to fly to another one. And I was like, okay, horror movie, the one to see, you play Frank. I'm reading it, I'm like, there's no Frank yet. And then I'm like, okay, so, I don't want to spoil it, actually. Anybody not seen Barbarian that plans to see it? Okay, good. Because this is one movie you do not want to know anything about before you see it. And I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh, okay, Bill Skarsgård, I know Bill Skarsgård, but the Bill Skarsgård character, he's the baddie. And then all of a sudden, it cuts to the Justin Long scene. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'm reading that, and then where the fuck's Frank? And then all of a sudden, boom. Cuts to some flashback with Frank. I'm like, who the fuck? Oh shit, and then I started. And then I read, by the time, that was the best horror script I had read. Maybe ever. It was like, what? I landed and called my agent. And said, I'll do it. Oh my God. And then we shot it, and it was a great experience. Zach's an amazing director. Really intense character that gave me nightmares for a week. And just fucking it up for the time, but it was really worth it. And then probably the most evil kind of ever made. And I researched a lot about those kind of guys and different people. That's fine. Is there any children, by the way? Because there is, I'm in trouble. Swell. And then it blew up, which I knew was good, but then all of a sudden it was a huge phenomenon, which was really difficult. It's a really cool.
And that's how it was with us again. Like it blew up, and so we went back to watch it. Me and my wife did it. We're like, okay, like you were saying, basic horror movie, and then it just gets totally nailed out to left field. We're like, holy fuck, this is awesome! Like, and it's still it was probably a month ago. Just randomly we'll pick it to watch it again, just because maybe there's something wrong with us, but. Anything upcoming that you want to?
So, I mean, just the newest one would be Pinocchio. I've done a bunch of stuff recently, but then when I get asked that, I can't remember. But there's a couple of horror films coming out, and then a comedy I mentioned. And, it's just a lot of different things coming out. There's a movie called Sisu 2 that came out last year that's worth checking out on streaming if you haven't. That was one that was a great director. The CC wanted to go check it out first. It's just a bad Rambo on steroids set in Finland. There's like hardly any dialogue. I think most of the time. And then just madness. It's really fun film.
Yeah. Anybody else got any questions? Well, if no one does, we'll wrap this up. Do remember, guys, at 1:30, Richard has his pro photo op here, him and Jeff. And of course, if you do think of any questions after we get done here, he'll be at his table as well. Feel free to go up, talk to him. We got some cool stuff to sign. And come say it.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah.